Welcome back to the Shigeaki Podcast, where age is not a decline, but a refinement. I'm Dr. Mark Hyman, and today we're going to talk about something that most people don't even think about until it starts to fail your lungs. Let me tell you about Michael. He's 69, retired pilot, never smoked, still does push-ups every morning. Strong guy, proud posture. But he came to see me last month because something had shifted. Doc, I walked up one flight of stairs, just one, and halfway through, I had to stop. Not because of pain, not because of my heart. I just couldn't get enough air. Then he said something I'll never forget. I didn't realize my lungs were getting weaker until they were already gone. That hit me because it's exactly what so many of us miss. After age 60, the lungs begin to lose capacity, not because we're sick, but because we've stopped asking them to breathe deeply. And today I want to introduce you to someone who spent more than 7 decades helping people breathe better, live longer, and age on their own terms. His name is Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara. He's over 100 years old. A legendary neurologist from Japan, he's witnessed tens of thousands of patients, many of whom outlived expectations because of the simplest of practices. And perhaps more remarkably, he's still here, still writing, still teaching, still walking, because he's lived every word he teaches. Dr. Hinohara, thank you for joining us again. It's always an honor.
Thank you, Dr. Hyman, and thank you to everyone listening. You know, in Japan we do not speak of old age as decline. We speak of it as deepening. But breath is the first thing that deepens or disappears. Most people after 60 do not lose their lungs all at once. They lose them slowly, quietly, through shallow mornings, through quiet forgetting, until one day they climb stairs or laugh too long or sing and they feel the loss. And that's why this conversation is important. Because the lungs are not gone. They are simply sleeping. And we must learn each morning to wake them up again.
Exactly. That's why in this episode, we're going to walk you through a simple ritual, just 3 minutes each morning, that can strengthen your lungs, calm your nervous system, and truly help you feel alive again. It's not about fitness. It's not about willpower. It's about remembering how to breathe with intention, with rhythm, with presence. So, don't go anywhere, because your lungs aren't finished yet, and neither are you. So let's get to the heart of it. Why does something as natural as breathing something we do over 20,000 times a day begin to fail us after 60? It's not just age, it's accumulation. Let me explain. After we turn 30, our lung capacity starts to decline very slowly, about 1% per year. By 60 or 70, that adds up to 20 to 30% less air per breath. But that's just the beginning. At the same time, the ribcage becomes stiffer. The diaphragm, the main breathing muscle, weaken. Air sacs in the lungs lose elasticity so less oxygen is absorbed. And the tiny cilia that help clear mucus, they slow down too. The result, shallower breaths, less oxygen, more carbon dioxide left behind, and a creeping sense of fatigue, brain fog, shortness of breath not tied to disease, but to invisible decline.
Yes, and what's most dangerous is that this decline is painless. The joints may ache, the eyes may blur, but the lungs do not cry out. They whisper. And if we do not listen, we do not notice. Until one day we wake up and the stairs feel taller. The conversation feels longer. The walk to the mailbox feels heavier. And the common mistake I hear from my patients is this: "Doctor, I thought I was just out of shape." But no. The lungs are not just weak, they are quietly unused.
That's so true. And people compensate. They breathe faster instead of deeper. They take shallow upper chest breaths. That type of breathing activates the stress response, tightens the shoulders, and deprives the body of full oxygen exchange. It's a loop-poor breathing, fatigue, less movement, weaker lungs, even poorer breathing.
Yes, exactly. But this loop can be reversed. The lungs are not like bones. They are not fixed. They are trainable. Even after 80, I have seen people expand their lung capacity again simply by changing the way they begin their day.
You know, in the West, we often think of lung training as something intense, running, swimming long hikes. But what you teach is different. It's gentle. It's quiet. It starts with something as simple as sitting up in bed and breathing deeply on purpose. I remember you once said to me, lungs do not need to be pushed. They need to be invited.
Yes, that is true. When I teach breathing to elders in Japan, I don't say we are going to work out. I say we are going to greet the lungs. Because each morning when you wake, your lungs are like a folded fan. They must be opened slowly, kindly, and with rhythm. And if you do this each day just for a few minutes, your lungs remember. They respond, they stretch further, they begin to serve your body again.
And that's what's so exciting. You don't need a gym. You don't need equipment. You just need 3 to 5 minutes in the morning, a quiet place, and a willingness to reconnect with your breath. Coming up, we'll walk you through Dr. Hinohara's morning lung ritual, the exact steps he teaches elders across Japan to restore lung strength, improve energy, and feel more alive without ever leaving the house. And trust me, it's simpler than you think.
Yes, we will breathe together. Because when you wake the lungs, you wake the mind, you wake the body. And perhaps you wake a part of yourself you thought was gone.
So, now that we understand what's happening to the lungs after 60, the real question is, what can we do about it? Let me say this clearly. You don't need to run a mile. You don't need to take supplements. You don't even need to leave your bedroom. You just need 3 minutes and a commitment to start your morning with breath. Dr. Hinohara, can you walk us through your morning lung ritual? I know it's helped thousands in Japan, and frankly, it's unlike anything we do in the West.
Yes, and I'm happy to share it. We call it Aisa no Iki, the morning breath. It has 3 parts: stillness breath, expansion, vocal vibration. Let me explain. Step 1, stillness 30 seconds. When you wake, do not rush out of bed. Sit up slowly. Place both feet on the floor. Close your eyes. Hands on your belly. Feel the weight of your body. Notice your breath, don't change it. Just observe it. This stillness tells your nervous system we are safe. You may wake gently.
Step 2, breath expansion. 90 seconds. This is where it gets powerful. It's a structured breath cycle, but very gentle. Here's what to do. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold the breath for 2 seconds. Exhale slowly through the mouth for 6 seconds. Do this 5 full cycles. It takes just over a minute. This type of breathing activates your diaphragm, expands lung capacity, and calms the sympathetic nervous system, which controls stress.
Yes, and remember to breathe into your belly, not your chest. When you inhale, feel your abdomen rise. When you exhale, feel it fall. This is how babies breathe. It is how we are designed to breathe before the world taught us to rush.
Step 3, vocal vibration, 30-45 seconds. Now this may sound unusual, but it's deeply effective. After your 5th breath, take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, hum gently. Just a long, soft or ah sound. Not loud, not forced, just vibrating. Why? Because vocal sound sends a subtle vibration into your chest. Cavity stimulates the vagus nerve and helps loosen any mucus or congestion.
And in Japanese homes, we often say a short sound as we stretch the arms overhead. It may seem silly, but the combination of movement, breath, and vibration helps the lungs reconnect with the entire body. It is not exercise, it is activation.
Let's recap. 30 seconds of stillness, 5 slow belly breaths, 4-2-6 pattern, 1 or 2 gentle vocal exhalations. It takes 3 minutes, no equipment, no training. But the impact, profound. I've seen patients report deeper breathing, less coughing, improved sleep, reduced anxiety, and even a greater sense of emotional clarity just from this morning ritual.
Yes, because the lungs are not just for survival, they are for presence. When we breathe deeply, we feel more alive. When we breathe intentionally, we remember we are still here. And when we begin each morning like this, We teach our lungs not just to work, but to wake up with us.
So, we've covered the ritual. But what truly amazes me is how something as simple as breathwork touches almost every system in the body. When my patients commit to this morning practice not just once but daily, they don't just breathe better, they begin to feel better. Less fatigue, fewer colds, sharper focus, even less anxiety. So, let's break that down. First, immunity. Most people don't know that deep breathing is one of the fastest ways to activate the lymphatic system, which helps drain toxins and circulate immune cells. And when you breathe through your diaphragm, slow and low, you literally massage your organs and stimulate immune function.
Yes. In Japan, we say strong lungs protect weak days. When elders breathe with depth, they reduce stagnant air in the lungs. This means fewer respiratory infections, better oxygen exchange, and a stronger barrier against seasonal viruses. I had a patient 86 years old. She used to get bronchitis every winter. We taught her this breathing ritual. And after 1 full year, no infection, no fatigue. She said, "My chest feels warmer, even in January."
I love that. Now, let's talk about the brain. When we breathe deeply and slowly, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, that's the rest and digest side. This reduces cortisol, improves blood flow to the brain, and even boosts neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and grow. And remember, oxygen is the brain's #1 fuel. If we don't breathe deeply, we starve the mind.
That is very true. And I have seen elders come to life again simply because their brain began to breathe again. One woman, 74, told me, "I forgot how it feels to feel clear." We do not realize how foggy we've become until clarity returns.
Exactly. And that clarity is what gives people back their sense of self. Now, finally, let's talk about mood. When we breathe deeply, we release more nitric oxide, a gas that relaxes blood vessels, improves circulation, and creates a calm, centered feeling. That's why breathwork is being studied as a treatment for depression and anxiety, especially in older adults. I often tell my patients, before you reach for a pill, reach for your breath.
Beautifully said. In my experience, sadness in elders is often not emotional, but respiratory. They are not grieving. They are breathing poorly. And when we give them back breath, we often give them back joy.
That's powerful. So let's recap what this 3-minute morning lung ritual can do. Improve immune response by stimulating lymph flow. Increase oxygen to the brain, enhancing memory and focus. Reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and elevate mood naturally. And all of it begins not with medicine, but with attention to the breath.
Yes, and I say this with love. If you feel stuck, heavy, tired, start here. Not with running. Not with supplements, not with willpower, but with the quiet act of breathing with presence, rhythm, and respect. Because when your breath returns, so will you.
So here we are. We've talked about the science of the lungs, the slow fading of breath after 60, and the remarkable ability we all still have to breathe life back in one morning at a time. But what I want to leave you with is simple. Don't wait until you lose your breath to realize how sacred it is. If you're listening to this and thinking, it's too late for me, I promise you it's not. 3 minutes. That's all it takes to begin again. You don't have to be strong. You just have to be willing. Willing to sit, to breathe, to feel the rise and fall of your own life without noise, without judgment. And when you do, you'll be amazed how quickly the lungs respond, how the body softens, how the day begins differently.
Yes, beautifully said. I have met many patients in their 80s who said, "Doctor, I feel invisible now." And I always respond, then let's begin where you still exist in your breath. Because when you breathe with intention, you do not disappear. You return. Every morning is an invitation to move from silence into song, from sleep into strength. And I say this from over a century of living. You're not too old. You are not too late. You are exactly where you need to be to begin again.
And if this conversation moved, you helped you, or simply made you pause and breathe, Please subscribe to the Shigeaki Podcast, leave us a review, and share this episode with someone you care about. Because this isn't just a podcast, it's a conversation about living, and we want you here for it.
Till next time, wake each morning with breath, and carry that breath with you gently through the day. Because health doesn't begin with strength, it begins with awareness. And the most powerful medicine you'll ever take might just be the one you've forgotten to notice your own breath.